Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to make this wreath, and this wreath, and this wreath, and this wreath, and that's right, this wreath. And this is what we're going to get started with. We've got some wood joiners, some magnets, some ribbon, a styrofoam wreath form, and lots of pretty florals. Now the purple ones we didn't get to, but we did use the others. Oh, and look, there's lilies. We didn't get to those either. But the possibilities with this wreath are unlimited, and you can use whatever florals and ribbon you want. And yes, we're going to need these floral pins. They came from Hobby Lobby. And go ahead and take out a few of those floral pins, because if you try to get them out of the bag, it'll drive you crazy. And I always use these pins to hold my ribbon closed. A lesson I learned though is get the really thin pins, because sometimes it will leave a hole in your ribbon. We're just going to put a little hot glue right on the edge, and then we're going to attach it to our form, but we're going to do it at an angle. That way when you start going around, it'll wrap nice and tight and just keep letting you go around and around. Add a little bit of glue to these floral pins, and then put them in at an angle, because if you go straight down, sometimes they might poke through the other side. So put them in at an angle and get lots of hot glue on your fingertips. Now this video is a little long, but there's a lot of detail in here that I wanted to leave in, and of course you can fast forward through the stuff if you don't want to see it, but there is, like I said, a lot of detail and tips and tricks and things that, you know, I think some people are going to want to see, so I didn't want to take it out. And then we are going to wrap this around, and I'll only show you about a quarter of that, but it just to get you started. And then about a quarter of the way through each one, we'll add another floral pin just to keep it taut. And go about halfway down when you're doing your ribbon, when you're winding it. And what's good is the wire will make a bump in the ribbon, but if you keep it nice and consistent, then it just looks like part of the design. It's pretty neat. And this is a good time to go ahead and say thank you so much for watching. And we just continue to grow, and that is completely thanks to you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing if you're sharing. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for subscribing. Thank you for commenting, because all of that helps the channel to grow, and we're growing so fast. As of today, when I'm doing this, it was 6 weeks ago that I started the channel, so it's growing quite a bit. We've got over 1,100 subscribers. So I put a little bit of hot glue on these floral pins before I poke them in, and again put them in at an angle. And use the right tools. That way you don't have hot glue all over your fingers. And I love peeling hot glue off of those silicone makeup brushes. Something very satisfying about that. Here at the end, we're just going to pull it real tight, fold the edge under, and hot glue it. And we're going to put some more floral pins in there as well. But once you get several layers of fabric, the floral pins get a little more difficult to put in. Just got to give them a little more push. And guys, I'm so sorry, my voice is going to be in and out during this whole thing. This allergy season is kicking my bottom. I've had headaches every day. All kinds of issues. Hopefully you're making it through the season, okie dokie. And once we get all that done, I will go back and put little pieces of fabric or ribbon on the top of the metal pins just to kind of camouflage them. And then I just hot glue and fold over so I get a good clean edge, and then just put it on top of there. Just kind of hides the pins, and if it's on somebody's door, they won't scratch it. And then I thought, how am I going to hang this? And after about 45 minutes of fussing with it, I finally thought, All right, I'm just going to tie a knot in it. And then if I need to put a floral or a flower in front of it, or I could put a bow in front of it or something like that. But the knot ends up looking pretty cute. I mean, I tried all kinds of different things because it's not hanging the right direction to hang on a wreath hanger. So I just wrapped the ribbon around and hot glued it. And like I say, I just ended up putting a knot in it here. Just tied an old-fashioned knot, nothing special. And then I just hot glued the end on the back of the wreath form there. And you saw that there's greenery on the base itself, and I have this little bucket I keep. I never throw away leaves. And so I went through there and tried to determine which leaves I wanted to use. And I didn't really want to go with one particular kind, because if you change it, you want, all kinds of different leaves and different colors. And usually just pick a couple of bigger leaves for your base. And then you just kind of play off of that. Separate everything, cut off the stems, and then just add what you like. That's what's good about this is, it's going to be something that's going to go with a lot of different things, so you can just kind of play around with it. Then after you've laid it out and you're happy with it, just start hot gluing them on. Like I say, you'll hot glue the bigger ones first and then put some of the smaller ones. And just pick out the leaves you like. Be real careful, of course, with hot gluing, and especially with those little thin leaves. Very silky, and it'll just burn you right through it. So be safe out there crafting, folks. Be safe. Once you get all of your leaves on, you're going to use these metal wood joiners. They come from the specialty fastener section in the Home Depot. And I usually get the smaller ones because you get more in a package and the package is less expensive. And I'm cheap. So be really careful here because those little things are metal. And when you put hot glue on it, it makes them hot. And it's a very small area to work with. So just be careful. And that hot glue gun, I have a Ryobi, and it's an industrial type hot glue gun. And so I cycle it on and off. And right now when I was doing this, I'd had it off. But it stays so hot that, I can use half a glue stick before it even gets to the point that it's not melted. But whatever glue gun you use, and you could use, something like a E6000 or Gorilla Glue or something like that here as well. Because it really is a very small area to hot glue, so be careful. I think I already said that, so be careful. Oh, I did say that. And I'm placing these about 2 inches apart, and we're going to use a magnet to put different flowers on. But even by the end of this video, I had changed what I did, so stay tuned. But these magnets, man, don't use a cheap magnet because they're just not going to hold. But these magnets are really good. In fact, you're going to see here, I show how tough they are to get apart. There's 6 of them in that little package. And it's like pulling them apart. It's crazy. That's a good magnet right there. And they also come from the specialty fastener section in the Home Depot. Now what we're going to do, again, I do multiple things here besides sticking my fingers in the hot glue. Oh, Lord, I have to be the messiest crafter ever. Why do I even keep doing it? Look, and then I just go right back and do it again. Oh, good night. Okay, anyways, I take a pipe cleaner and attach it to the stems that are poking up. And I put a 3rd flower on that particular part. I kind of like 3 flowers on the bottom, a bow, and then 2 flowers on the top. But that's not always the way it works out. just typically. And then I just attach the magnet to the pipe cleaner. And it's funny because the wire in the pipe cleaner actually kind of magnetizes to the magnet, so you saw it kind of pop on there. And now to determine a bow. And I had done a video and I said that I didn't really do the bows in all the videos because I had the bow video that showed all the different bow makers. And then I've heard several people say in the comments that they do want to see the bows being made, which is one of the reasons this is a little bit longer video. But I would rather put stuff in that people want to see than leave it out and they wish it was in there. Because if you don't really want to see me make a bow, then you can just fast forward. But of course you run the risk of missing something life-changing during that part. But, you know, it's your choice. Whatever. But I really don't know what I'm going to say during all this. I mean, I'll play by play the bow making. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome today. We are going to make a bow, and she has chosen her ribbons, and she has now decided how long her tails are going to be. And now she's making a loop. And look at that loop. It's a great loop. Now she's going to make another loop. Oh, it looks a little short. Whoops, she lengthened it out. Good call. She caught that. Now she's making another loop. Oh, but she's got to get some slack in the ribbon first. There's that loop. We knew it was coming, didn't we? And another. Is it the same length? Looks like it. So she's going to move on. She's going to make yet another loop. She's made another loop. It's amazing. Well, I guess we can probably say that I have not missed my calling as a play-by-play announcer. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube, though, where the people are doing like play-by-play of ordinary stuff. Oh my gosh, they'll just keep you in stitches. Laughing. And everybody needs to laugh. You got to find things that you can laugh at, even if it's yourself sometimes. Yeah, I was testing that ribbon. That was just not a good call. But I do make a bow out of that ribbon in a minute. But I think these two coordinate really well. And these are very silky. And you know how I say sometimes, even if the ribbons are the same on both sides, you still need to turn them when you make your loop because the stitching on the sides are different on the front and the back. But in this particular ribbon, I checked it out, and they're not different. So that's why I just went back and forth and did not do any turning to change my loop direction. You'll see these anomalies from time to time. I'll always try to explain them. And I've also warned in the past of checking your ribbon to make sure you're not going to run out at the end. And I cut it very close here, didn't I? And I didn't check my ribbon. It's a good thing I didn't want to make a center loop. Although if there'd been more ribbon, I might have. But I think it turned out really cute without it. Anyways, I use a pipe cleaner. Just twisted it up real tight. If I have a really fat bow, then I think that a zip tie works a lot better because you can get it a lot tighter with less effort. And sometimes our hands get kind of tired after a hard day of crafting. And then I just dovetail the ends. And then when I go to add the magnet, I just kind of take the end of the pipe cleaner and twirled it around to make a little base, and then put some hot glue on there and glued the magnet. And again, you'll see that the magnet just kind of pops onto there because of the wire in the pipe cleaner. Now here's the finished product, and for some reason the color was totally off. Well, I know why the color was off, because my lighting, I changed it for the other pictures. Now, the last flowers I did, those came from Hobby Lobby. And this set of flowers, they came from the Dollar Tree. And what I'm doing here is I just cut out a little piece of cardstock, and then I have that cool hole punch. I'll show you the package to that in a minute because that's a new toy. It makes a little tiny hole, but I figured, what if I just attached those flower backs into that little hole? I'll glue them so that they stay secure, and then I'm going to put a pipe cleaner on the back of that, and then use the pipe cleaner to put it on the wreath. That way we don't have to use the magnets. And you can go either way. I can tell you this. The magnets make it much easier to take them on and off. But the magnets are also harder to get the stuff to stick together. Like right here, instead of putting a pipe cleaner, I could just put a magnet right in the center of there, and that'd be great. So really, it's just whichever way you want to go with it, whatever you think is easier. And it's not like you're going to be doing it all the time. I mean, I did a lot right here because it was just for the process. But if you're doing it at home, you get your wreath base, and then, every other month or so, you can create a new little grouping and attach it. So whichever way you feel is better, with the magnet or with the pipe cleaner. But that gives you a couple of options. I can tell you the pipe cleaner version will be much cheaper because you don't have to buy the little wood joiners or the magnets. And here you'll see I'm adding the pipe cleaner, much like I do when I'm attaching a sign to a wreath. Just put a little hot glue, put the pipe cleaner down in it, and typically when I'm doing a sign, I will put duct tape over it, but here I just chose to put another little piece of cardstock, and that way it keeps it secure. And then you just cut off the edges that might show in between the flowers. But that's all there is to that part. Like I said, you can use the pipe cleaner or the magnet, but it's the same basic principle, and it gives you a wreath that you can use all year long, but it's different for every season. And here I'm just attaching the pipe cleaner to the wreath. And that's what I'm saying. This process is a little more cumbersome than the magnets, but much cheaper. And really easier to do, I think, than the magnets initially. But the magnets just make it so much easier to interchange it. And if you look on the back here, you kind of have a mess. But I do show a solution to that problem here in a minute. Because it's like this was a major process just working through it on my own here. And here's this one. I think it's very pretty. Love those colors, and can't believe those are Dollar Tree flowers. So pretty. And then here's another bow. And it's the same process as earlier. But I'll show this one because it is with a 2.5-inch ribbon. And I do actually twist it this time because the edging is different on the front and the back. And unless you're a seamstress, you probably don't even notice that, but I do so. I don't say I'm a seamstress, but I do so. So I kind of notice. And then all of them would be on the back side, on one side of your ribbon. If that makes sense, all your loops on the left side or the right side would be different. So that's why that just would drive me crazy. But this is my absolute favorite kind of bow. It's 3 loops on each side and then a loop in the center. My fave. Do y'all want more play-by-play? Because I'll do it. Don't tempt me. Actually, I'm going to practice it and I'm going to get better. And that's the way I'm going to start doing my videos. Probably not. Maybe just occasionally. I was working on it backwards too. I don't know why I did that. So I just turned it around here. Just kind of measure your loops, make sure they're even. Give her a twist. Pull it back to the center. And I usually, I like the Easy Bow Maker when I'm making bows. but I just didn't have room to put everything out. So when I'm doing that, I just make my bows by hand. And I don't think necessarily, I've talked to so many people that don't do that and can't do that or have struggle doing that. So I'm not saying you need to do it this way. It's just people want to see it, so there it is. And again, a pipe cleaner here because it's not too thick. Twist it up. And when I make a bow like this, a 3-loop bow like that on each side, one goes up, one goes down, and one in the center. Because if you put the center one in the front, then it looks kind of continuous. I mean, if you put the center loop in the back, then it breaks it up from that center loop on the front. I hope that makes sense. So if not, say so in the comments and I'll try to make it make more sense. But I do think this ribbon looks so pretty on this wreath. And look, that was an easy one because the pipe cleaner came already installed. And there it is. Those colors are so pretty. Now for the last version. I go back into my little stash here, and this isn't the leaves. These are actually flower heads. And I have some sunflowers. And I love sunflowers with that buffalo check ribbon. So pretty. But just looking to make sure there aren't any other sunflowers, because there's a big one big one, but it was just the wrong color, so I didn't use it. I used these little ones. And again, I just cut off some cardstock. And I figured if I do it in a triangle, I can make them a little further apart from each other. And this is the same process. Just going to cut the little holes in the cardstock. Those little sunflowers coming in bulk like that, they get bent up on the little petals. Drives me crazy. But here in just a second, I will show you what this little punch hole looks like. It came from Michael's punch hole. It's a hole punch. It says hand punch. And it makes that little bitty hole. I just love it. But don't we always love our new toys and new tools? But that one's a good one. And tell me in the comments below if you have a crocodile and if I should get a crocodile, because I really debated getting one here. I knew I needed the little bitty hole punch, but I just can't see paying that money for a crocodile. So comment below if you have a crocodile and tell me, should I get a crocodile? If you don't know what a crocodile is, it's a mega hole puncher. So now I'm just going to put these on here, and then we're going to take a picture of that and we'll be done. Oh yeah, but I did want to show you the solution I came up with that eliminates all that bulk on the back. And it's right here. You make one side longer than the other. And that way, when you go to twist it on the back, you can go on the inside of the wreath, and then it's going to be behind the flowers. I'm going to spin this in a sec. There we go. So see how one side is longer than the other? So then you just twist them up like that, and it just tucks behind here. So that makes it much better. And there's that one. Love those colors together. Guys, we've made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you would. You may check out one of these other videos. And we'll catch you on the next one.